Cutting down the sugar.
Do you like the sugar?
No, I left taking sugar, I think around 2005.
Oh, really? Completely?
So completely, but still the sweets. I'm taking sometimes the sweets,
Oh, okay.
but like tea, coffees, and reducing all sweetness. So it's been since 2005 or 6.
Do you drink like green tea?
Yes, and I even left one time, no green tea,
No.
just the hot water.
Oh, so you just drink hot water?
Yeah.
Oh. There's so many different teas and things.
Yes. Yeah. In the past, I used to drink coffees, and that's quite a lot, and I was kind of addicted to the coffee, and always early morning I normally take a coffee to wake me up.
I do that. I think I'm addicted. Before coffee I'm grumpy.
Yeah, so that's the same thing I was, and later on coffee became like a substitute to the water. So you're drinking more coffees, and whenever you want to drink water, then the hot water seems like very hot, but the very moment when you put a spoon or 2 spoons of a coffee, then it's more desirable to drink. Yeah, and with that I was like drinking 4 or 5 cups of a coffee.
Because the more you drank it, the more you needed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say, you're drinking a coffee in the evening, and how could you go to the sleep?
Yeah.
But it's never been my problem.
Oh, really? Did you drink coffee in the evening?
Yes, even in the evenings, and
You got to sleep?
no problem with the sleepings at all. And I became kind of addicted and attached to the coffee so much until it was 2016. Yeah, and it was late 2016. I was in Switzerland, and I was staying in one of the temples. And in that temple, they have a blending machine. So fresh coffee blending machine. And on that night, when one of the monks made this coffee, it was so tasty, and the smell was just
Fruity.
yes, that's so beautiful, and so desiring. And then I had a thought on that night after we had a coffee before bed. I had a thought, okay, tomorrow morning I will wake up, wash my face, get ready for the chanting, we'll have a coffee, and then we'll go to the chanting and meditation. Now, woke up, went. Well, before we went to the sleep, and I went to bed. Because of this test of the coffee came, I asked, where did you buy it? The coffee, where did you buy these coffee beans? And this monk told me that, we bought it from the Costco. And I immediately thought, our center is very close to the Costco. I could get any time whenever I finished.
So it's not special coffee? It's
That is a special coffee that you can buy from Costco.
Oh, yeah.
There's a fresh coffee beans. And I asked, where did you buy this machine? And he said, it's also Costco. And it was so desiring, isn't it? And there's a temptation. And there was a thought of, once I got back to the center in Scotland, I will go and get this coffee machine and get the coffee beans, and then we'll enjoy this coffee. See how far I've been there already.
Yeah.
And then we went to sleep, and then I had this thought of having this coffee. But once in the morning I went to the coffee machine and I didn't know how does it function.
Oh. That must be frustrating.
And I was very frustrated. I tried to find out the switch, and then the switch was on, and everything was perfect. Coffee beans, you can see on the jar, it's ready to blend. Water is there, and I didn't know how to function it.
Oh no.
And I was so frustrated, and I was like, oh damn. And there was a time to meditate in the chanting and meditation.
Yeah.
So then I went to the chanting without having a coffee. And my chanting was a coffee chanting.
Oh.
So thinking of a coffee, right? And then thinking, how does it, how couldn't I function this coffee machine?
Mm.
So it's become a chanting, coffee chanting.
Coffee chanting is not very good chanting.
No, I was verbalizing, but mentally I was thinking of a coffee.
Mm.
See? And immediately I thought, oh, that's bad. It's been too far away.
Mm.
So, and then I thought, okay, I need to cut off the coffee. And ever since, I didn't touch coffee. I didn't touch coffee for 3 months. And then there was this 3 months time. The first month was very hard.
Yeah.
Every time when I come to the kitchen, I see the coffee, then I can say, okay, I'm not going to have it. I can say immediately, I'm not touching it. And then straight away going to the green tea. But whenever I'm in the city, and I was so accustomed to Costa.
Yeah.
And then whenever you see the Costa coffee shop, it just drags me in. Okay? And then there was a thought, it was like a pulling and pushing game going on in me. Go and get the coffee, go and get a coffee. And then in the meantime say, no, I'm not going to have it. No, I'm not going to have it. Like that. And then that time, I could have gone into the coffee and drink chocolate or green tea. But my mind was completely shut off that Costa Coffee sells coffee. And I couldn't think of chocolates. I couldn't think of tea. I couldn't think of green tea.
Oh, Frappuccino.
Or Frappuccino. I couldn't. The mind was always saying Costa Coffee is only coffee. And there was a pulling and pushing game going on. And then every time when I see the Costa Coffee shop, and it was like really, really hard. But with my determination not to have it, then I was able to cut off 3 months. And after 3 months, I tried 1 cup of tea, a cup of coffee here, and it was very, very bitter.
You didn't like it then?
I didn't like it at all. And I thought, hang on a minute. How could I drink so many coffees in the past and never felt that bitterness? And in the past, I never put any sugar on it. And I never felt that bitterness.
Yeah.
But whereas now, just 2 spoons of a coffee, and I felt so bitterness. And I said, okay. And at that moment, I couldn't drink second sip of a coffee. So I had to throw it away.
Wow, in 3 months that's really good.
And I didn't drink for many, many months until this year. I have drunk 2 cups of coffees.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And these 2 cups of coffee, again, it's not a fresh coffee, but it's called 3-in-1 coffee.
Oh yeah, the Nescafe.
Yeah. So that's what it shows. That it's our mental attachment to something that addicts us. It's not about the stuffs that addicts, but our mind that stuck on it. And only need is to aware of our mind. Okay? Skillfully aware of this mind, then we will be able to cut off. There are so many people say, I'm so addicted to coffee. and I cannot give it up. I'm so addicted to smoke, I cannot give it up. That sort of thing. And that's, you cannot give it up because you haven't think of your own mental state. You're thinking that these are the only thing makes you relax, makes you feel energized, makes you feel wake up, makes you feel happy. And that's, yeah. But in fact, it is not. It's our mind that counts. I used to be a smoker too. And that's why I'm having this cough continuously. Okay. And that again, I switched off. I cut off the smoke immediately. And it didn't affect me at all. It was like, a month, that little bit difficult time. As the nutrition says, if you do for 21 days continuously, your behavior will change, your body clock will change. And that's, I think, is right. But most important is knowing it, that's happening in me, and I need to change it. There's a determination within us that counts, the effort that is the important. But normally what happens is we become a slave to the coffee, smoke, and thinking that if I'm not having the coffee in the morning, I am grumpy, sleepy, and not waking me up. I cannot do anything. I'm not fully functioned yet. That's like you're relying on something in order to wake you up. Right? And same thing with the smoke. Yeah? We are relying on a smoke to make you feel calm, make you feel good. And in the meantime, sometimes when you have a problem, you go into drinking alcohol, thinking that once you drink alcohol, you feel good. But it's not the case at all. No. Yeah? It's your mental state. You're just thinking of escape rather than dealing with it, that what you're feeling. It's like escaping, having alcohol, then I can forget everything. And that's just temporarily. You're just escaping from the problem that you're having, and rather than dealing with your feelings, your emotions, your problems, you're taking a refuge of alcohol. And with this, it will damaging your body, and as well as it is not helping you to make a right decision. And who knows, sometimes because of drinking too much, you're taking a wrong decision. Right? Caught up into another new problem. Okay? And then, how does it happen? It's all because we're taking another refuge. That's how some people go into the drugs. And end of the day, what happens? Yeah? That's all.
Downward spiral.
Yeah. So that's why the important part is the knowing that this is happening in me. This is happening to me. So understanding this feeling, this emotion, aware of it, knowing of it, then you will be able to let it be. But to be aware of it and to be able to know it, it's not an easy job. It's a very, very hard job. Sometimes you know. Sometimes we know that this is happening to me. I am upset because of this. I am not happy because of this. And yet, we cannot solve it. We're still hanging on to it and then go on. And that's simply, in a Buddhist term, it's called a Mara. Okay? A demon which is inside us, deluding us, and carry on doing it again and again. Sometimes we know this is not good things to do. It's not right things to do. And yet we still go back and doing it again and again. Yeah? And why? And that's simply because this demon which inside us, that is inactive. And we are failing to know it, failing to understand it, and not able to deal with it. And we become a slave to it. So practice of mindfulness meditation is to knowing these things. Yeah? Knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, knowing these things, this is happening to me. And then, kn and we will be able to deal with it. We will be able to let it be. And it is not that once you have done it and then you will be conqueror for all the time. No. This Mara, this demon is so strong that it's coming back again and again, again and again. It's like a weed in our garden. Yeah? You take it every time when you see the weeds away. But once rain falls, sunlight comes, this weed again comes back. So, you need to take it out again and again, weeding again and again. That's the same with our practice, with our mind too. We have so many defilements hiding inside, laying in our subconsciousness. And as we practice, this will come. As we practice, it pops out, one after another, one after another, one after another. So that's simply take it, bin it. Yeah? Take it, bin it. Rather than creating, I don't like it. The very moment we are saying, I don't like it, I don't like this weed in my garden, but you are not doing anything to it, what happens? It grows. Okay? And if you grasp it, oh, I like this weed, what happens? And you are keeping it. And later on, it gives you this beautiful flowers, right? This from the weed, also it has got flowers too. And if you're seeing, oh, such a beautiful flower, right? And you're expanding. It expands, right? But the very moment when it comes, we need to take it out and then throw it. Okay, one by one. That's same with our mind too. In our mind, there's so much there, and it is not just from this life, that we are having. If we believe in the law of karma and the birth and the death, we never know how long we have been lived in our past lives, and it's been consciously, subconsciously saved in our consciousness. It's like a old computer that you have. You never know what you've been saving in there. There are so many stops in your computer, and you've forgotten what you have saved in it. And then that's the same in our mind. And then when we are reboosting it, right, when we are checking in our computer, this mind computer, okay, we're clicking one after another. What's in my folder, right? First, go into the document, and then go into the folder, and then go into the folder, and then go into the folder, and then still so many files in there, and then we have to go and find which file you want to, right? So you're checking every files in your computer, and especially if you're giving it away to somebody, then you're checking in a really, really good details what's in there, what sort of a file that is hidden in there, and you're taking it out. So that's the same concept in our practice of meditation. When we practice meditation, our mind gradually settles down. As our mind settles down, gradually the consciousness starts to work. Okay? So we are working, to begin with, we are working with our body, and the first body comes, we will be crossing this bodily sense, bodily contemplation, and after that feeling. Once we cross the feeling, then that moment we are working on our mind or consciousness, which is sometimes can be described into different forms and different layers of a consciousness. And in that moment, everything comes. As our mind become very calm and settle down, at that moment, our mind begins to work. And that moment, we are completely disconnected from the worldly life, from the world, the conceptual world, the sense world. We are in a world. That's why it's called inner journey. Mindfulness practices, that's why it's called inner journey. So you're working inside, within yourself, in your mind. And that moment, everything comes. And each time it comes, take it, bin it. Okay? Take it, bin it. Nothing else. Nothing else. And then that moment, that's how we are clearing our mind, right? Cleaning our mind. And this cleaning process takes a long time, because we didn't know how much we have saved some waste things or things in our consciousness. Okay? And this consciousness again is always conditioned with something else. That's why the Buddha gave a simile of this consciousness as a play. Okay? We are on a stage playing our part, and we are taking this play as a real. Look at this play as if you are a spectators and you are watching the play. Do you think that this play is real? No. We have an understanding that this play is just played by somebody else, and after that, all the members, okay, all the plays that they are playing, are temporarily playing. Sometimes, if you are playing plays, you may be the king, you may be the queen. Yeah.
TV show, like you're watching the TV.
Yeah.
You're watching the TV, as you see the stages of calmness, that what happens is you start to see your mind very clearly and what's going on. But what I'm saying is that what you've got to do is you've got to watch it without any attachment.
Okay.
Without any grasping. Like the Prajan says, just watch the impermanence of it, the impermanence of the movement of it, and just watch it disappearing and then coming back and disappearing and coming back and disappearing without any form of grasping and attachment. And then what happens is that then you will start to understand the truth of things. How the truth of things.
We are just deluded. We are living in a deluded mind, deluded world, and we're taking it as a real. And sometimes the things that we know is not the right thing. It's like you go to watch the Shakespeare's play, right? When you're reading, it's like you are a part of the play, and you're taking it as a reality that you are in there, you are a part of it. Then you are diluted. That's same with us. Our life is a play. So this whole earth is a stage that we are playing our parts. And one who has got the good sight, one who has got the good wisdom, understanding it, he will not enjoy, but he will be knowing it and then using every moment skillfully, right? Skillfully. Live life skillfully. Okay, and with that, losing all the greediness. Do not waste hating somebody. Do not waste on this jealousy and anger. It's just a waste of time, right? And live life skillfully. How precious this life is. And then you will be generating kindness. You will be generating compassion. Yeah, you will be generating this caring and a sharing heart. Understanding that they are also subject to die. They are also subject to feeling a hurtness. They are also subject to feeling of this anger. Taking it, we are putting ourselves into their position, thinking that then we will be not going to harm anybody. We will be not taking anybody's one. We become more faithful. We become rightful. Right? Simply it's not happening, and simply because you think this world is for me. I am eternal. Everything that's happening, this play is real. And we attach to it. And with that attachment, we're creating a greed. This is belongs to me, that is belongs to me, I'm not going to give it to you, I'm not going to give it to you, this and that. Okay, so that greediness is there. And with that, who is suffering? We are suffering.
See, the thing
Yeah?
is, what's interesting about it, it's like if you look at the train, for instance, that the train, the old trains needed to be, they needed to be fed lots of coal and things like that. So what I'm saying is that like sort of with desire and things like that, the more you want, the more you require, things like that, the faster the train will start to travel. And as the faster the train starts to travel, then more hot, more problems, more this, more that, and the train will fail to stop. And if you can't stop, you can't see, you can't know, you don't know.
It goes too fast, like builds momentum, like the fractal
Yes,
entropy.
you can't see anything. You can't see it. You can't see it.
The delusion like multiplies itself.
Yeah, it's like a chain reaction of things all the time. Sure.
You can check yourself again and again. When we like someone, we can give everything. Yeah? You can give everything. And you can excuse everything too. But the very moment when we dislike, what happens? Nothing is possible. That's the same in our life. And because of that greediness, it happens like that. And that simplest anger generates. Okay? And the practice of meditation is to understand this. Understand this state of the mind. Okay? Our life we enjoy when we are given which we want. Okay? And we feel like, oh, this is so good. And that's simply, I normally call it, honey bowl with the poison in. So we're enjoying this honey bowl, right? Licking this honey bowl, and so delicious, so good. In the meantime, we are completely gone off the track. And the very moment when we realize it, it's too late. You're eating a poison now, right? So that's why, if you're mindful of it, then we will be able to realize that this is happening to me, and you stop there. That's why whenever we have a negativities, whenever we have an anger, that's why in the practice of meditation, the very moment when you feel angry, that's a good one.
To meditate just in that moment.
Yes.
Straight
You are aware of that at that moment. You are not lost in thoughts. But if you are having very, very good meditation, right? Such a calmness. After meditation, you're thinking of it all the time. And you're not aware of the present moment. So you are in the past memory. Right? Like that. So that's why my strategy of my life is, whenever somebody angry at me, or whenever somebody makes me angry or makes me feel unhappy, that person is the good teacher for me. I'm watching my mind. Okay? I'm watching my heart, and I'm watching my thoughts and thinking process. I'm watching it. How am I thinking? How am I, creating thoughts? I'm watching it, and then I'm learning from it. But if somebody comes and praise me, is it true? Sometimes you will be praised to something else. That may not be true. So in that moment, if somebody is praising me, then thank you. That's all. It's done. And again, that moment I'm watching my thought. Oh, sometimes you will be floating, right? And you're watching it. So that moment, we may not. Quite often, when somebody praises us, We are unaware of our mental state, our thoughts. But whenever somebody tells us off, that moment we are aware of our own feelings. We become angry. We think about something. I'm not what you are saying. I've been this and I've been that, like that. So it deeply connects with you. So that's why negativity is always good. Negativity always teaches us. The very moment when we know negativities, that moment we are happy. So we always need to thank you our sufferings, our problems. Whenever we see this suffering, whenever we see these problems, and that moment we are in a state for the happiness.
It's interesting, Prajan Sujan, that what happens is I have a young son, he's about maybe 20 years old, and what happens is the environment he's in, he's always getting, I can see he's always getting nagged, he's always getting pecked at and things like that. And what happens is that now, even when he's on the job now, when you ask him to do something, there's a reaction to it. Even a simple command, there's like a reaction to it. Instead of looking at it as an instruction or doing something, that he looks at it as someone's actually getting on him, instead of somebody's actually giving him a command to do something. Like, it's like you could be in the workplace, somebody says, right, we need to kind of do this, or we need to do that, or we need to organise this or organise that. But what I'm saying is that because of his mindset at home, that what I'm saying is that there's a kind of, there's kind of a brick wall there that he's kind of coming against it, thinking it's somebody's talking down to him, instead of him looking at it as an instruction or this is what we've got to do this or to do that. So I can see that within him, watching him.
There was one lady. She's been here meditating in our center, and she is meditating quite some times, and she has found meditation is very helpful to deal with her family problems and business problems. And gradually, as she understood meditation, she began to see herself as an important, and then continue practicing regularly at home and even at her work. Recently, her son was having a problem in his work, problem with fellow members, staffs, and in the situation that he was really difficult, and he spoke with his mom, and his mom said, as his mom explained to me, said to him that, watch your breath, be mindful of your breath. Every time when it happens, just be mindful of your breath, and whenever you have a small time, take time off and aware of your sensations. And that was her instruction, but she didn't expect that he's gonna do it, he's gonna practice it. And then when she came to talk to me, she came to tell me that he wanted to come to see me now, and simply because he was practicing it and seeing the benefit of it. And she was very happy. like that. So that's why the practice of meditation is, you have to practice, and then you have to understand the benefit of it, and then able to teach. So that's why at work, if we let them practice a little bit, just be mindful of your breath, it helps. And even at places that I go to teach, in particular, there are quite a number of staffs from high-end organizations. That was my simple advice. Be mindful of your breath. Take a couple of minutes of a break and then be mindful of your walk, and you can spend time looking at your breath at your toilet. And then the result of it is quite significant, quite interesting. They can deal with the situation, and they can develop this sense of a connectedness with other fellow workers, and they were able to live happily like that. So that's why it depends on how we introduce and how we have understood and how we have guided. And again, always, we shouldn't be expecting that somebody will do as you explain, as you guide. The very moment when we expect from that person to be that what I'm saying you should be doing, then not that person suffer, I am suffering. Okay, so that's why we need to be able to understand this too.
I think it's interesting what we spoke about. What happens is that because it's Buddhist Lent now, that the Prajna Sujan was explaining to us a number of days ago that the monks have to stay at the temple for 3 months, and it's only under severe circumstances that they can travel out. It could be a family bereavement, they have to sign a paper and they can come back after, say, 7 days. But what I'm saying is that they still have to live together, and they still have to communicate together, and they still have to work together. So what I'm saying is that regardless of who or what we are, we still have to go along the same principles of things with the practice, and we're no different. They're no different. They still have to kind of work on these aspects the same as everybody else does in life, and that's why the Prajna Sujan spoke about it. That's why the Buddha wanted the monks to go into Lent for 3 months. So every year they do that. So so everybody's in training in some aspect of things to have more of an understanding of things. Yeah.
Right, okay. Anything else? Otherwise we do the loving kindness meditation. Yeah. Okay. Matthew, would you mind to lead us a loving kindness meditation? Okay? Okay.